Yeah, it's bad.
It's so funny. But you're just over there yawning, having one of the, I don't know if it's one of the worst days of your life, but you still look like you're having fun. Ah, God, I don't know why it's so funny. Okay.
Kind of mean, but all right.
No, I'm not trying to be mean. It's just like a couple weeks ago, that was me. A couple weeks ago. Not good.
Mm-mm.
Not good at all. All right. So you can introduce us if you'd like.
I can't even think of what to say.
Okay. All right. So uh welcome to Dear Friends and Dead Ends podcast. We are doing episode 5. It's been 5 weeks now. That's pretty cool. Cody's super hungover, so we're gonna try and get through this. I am actually in a really good mood because this case is fucking amazing. It's sad in regards to the disappearance, but it's the details. So I'm gonna do a couple of just housekeeping stuff. First of all, I am Ashley. He is Cody. Should probably introduce ourselves. And thank you to anyone that reviewed us on Apple Podcasts. Even if you're not listening to us on Apple Podcasts, you can, rate, review us on there. That's the best way to get us seen. The word of mouth is really good. So if you tell anyone that you really love our podcast, maybe they'll listen to it. We would just really appreciate it. It means a lot to us. And I started a TikTok for the podcast, which is the best and worst decision I've ever made in my life. So it's DFDE Pod. You can find us on TikTok should you want to see me summarizing cases in a minute and asking interactive questions. Oh, I also have Ted Bundy's. So I can go over those if you want.
Yeah, I definitely want it.
Yeah, you look like you're dead. Like you. Okay. All right. So the first one I'm gonna do came from Sugar Star Bakery, and hands down the best baker I've ever met in my life. No offense to anyone else that has ever baked anything for me. We all know she's the best. She sent TV. The CDC says to refrain from handshakes. Jeffrey Dahmer, stop Splendor. Oh man. Thank you. Thank you. That is amazing. Thank you. Thank you. The other one is it's not a fun, but it's fucking amazing. So the police caught a serial killer who targeted gingers. At his trial, he kept insisting he never harmed a soul. Thank you, whoever sent that. That was amazing. You know who you are.
Yeah, that's a good time.
Yeah, that was good. So thank you for listening to the podcast where I think I insult Cody every week and he still stays friends with me, which is really incredible.
Calling it quits this week.
Thank God.
We're done. It's over.
Thank you for the 5 episodes that we've done together, guys. We'll see you
It's
never.
been a good run.
Yeah, I think we've done well. I'm telling you, I don't care how washed out I look in this webcam. I am feeling this My Chemical Romance look. I may look like Casper, but it's working.
Yeah, I dig it.
For anyone that's not watching the YouTube video of this, we got HD webcam, so it looks better quality. I think it washes this out a bit, but I think that's okay. John Cena looks really fucking creepy now.
Yeah, where is he? I can't even see him.
He's over. He's well, for you, he's probably that way, maybe.
Yeah, he's back there.
Yeah, he looks really fucking sketch. Oh, are you telling me you couldn't see him?
Nailed it.
Okay, we're done. Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first this week?
Why don't you go first?
Okay. All right. So the case that I'm gonna do this week, it takes place in Italy, and
Okay.
it's phenomenal. Okay, so
Mamma mia.
Oh, just so it is. I looked this up and I'm already forgetting how to pronounce it. Emanuela Orlandi, and she was born January 14th of 1968, and the time of her disappearance, it is 1983. That makes her, I believe, 15 years old. Yes. She is a citizen. She is a citizen of Vatican City, which is next to Rome. In Rome, I'm not sure, but they're really close to each other. So
that's where the Pope is, right?
Sure is. Yes. And I will get to it in a second. So, yeah, the Vatican is indeed involved just in the fact that Vatican City is where she lived at the time. And just get ready, guys. So she knew both Italian and, oh, no. This is what I thought when I looked it up. Italian and Vaticanese, which I didn't know was a thing. I thought it was like a whole new language. It's not. It's just like a heritage thing. I've never heard that in my life.
Wait, what?
Vaticanese.
What do you mean it's just a heritage thing? Like it's not a language?
It's just like a nationality kind of thing. Let's see. I'm just going to call her E because it's way easier. So E was 5 foot 3 inches tall. She was born to Ercole and Maria. Probably pronounced that horribly.
Urkel?
It could be. So she had a brother and she also had 3 sisters. And she is the 4th born of the 5 kids. And I put, that's a Cinca de no thanks from me. But that's not how you pronounce it. It's Cinque. So we're also learning things on the podcast.
Wait, what is it?
Cinque.
What
that's
is that?
How you say 5 in Italian.
Oh, for real?
For real, unless the internet lied to me. Which is fine.
Cinque?
Cinque. So
that doesn't sound Italian to me.
It sure doesn't, but that's what it said. It didn't say, it said Italian. So her dad worked for the Vatican Bank, or possibly I don't know if it's papal household, which is basically the household that holds and the dignitaries that help the Pope with main events and big ceremonies. That's the house they live in. So he might have worked there. It's not really clear. I didn't even know that was a thing that existed, but apparently they have their own house. So for just the people that help out with ceremonies. And I did put I Vati-Can't with this case. So you are so welcome. Okay. So the children that were in the family, basically they could go wherever they wanted to in the Vatican gardens. They could kind of use it as their playground. They were just able to run wherever. And E was in her 2nd year of Liceo Scientifico, aka high school. She also took flute lessons 3 times a year at I'm sorry, 3 times a week. Jesus Christ. I did.
She's learning just real slow.
3 times a year. Jesus Christ. That's how often I went to church. That's a lie, and my mother knows that. So she took flute lessons.
Did you go more or less?
Oh no, she made me go every Sunday.
Oh, okay.
Until I got into high school and she couldn't really go to church because of her autoimmune disease. And then I haven't gone back. Okay. So the school that she went to had a really long name, so we're going to call it Flute School. She was also in a choir at church at the Vatican, also with a really long name. I'm sorry, I'm not going to pronounce it. So,
oh, come on, give it a try.
Oh boy. Santa Ana de Pella Fianeri? Fianeri. Huh?
You nailed it.
I think so. I think so. Anyways, we're going to lose Italy. Italy is never going to listen to us again.
Santa Diana Pagliari.
And then just a Fieri at the end. That's the only time the accent comes out. Okay. So to get to flute school, E had to take the bus. It was only a few stops away, But from there, it was maybe 600 feet or around 200 meters for those in the rest of the world. And on Wednesday, June 22nd of 1983, she ended up being late to class. At first, I thought she didn't go at all. She was just late for whatever reason. And she wanted her brother, Pietro, to go on the bus with her, but he couldn't. He had a prior engagement. So he kind of blames himself for not going along and making sure she got where she needed to be on time. And that kind of sets this whole thing in motion because of what happens between her getting on the bus and then her actually getting to class just late.
Mhm.
So she did call home that day. It was a little bit later in the day. She spoke to one of her sisters, and this is the last communication they have with her at all. And that's what investigators have said anyway. So it's, oh God, it's a whole stupid, it makes me so mad. Anyway, so can you hear with the dog?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi, Piper.
That's Piper. She's super loud. My husband is coming home, so she just wanted to make her debut. So I also want to point out that I have called the investigators in the situation, DILFs, detectives I'd like to fire. Okay.
I thought we were
No.
taking a turn.
No. For many reasons.
I'd like to fire.
Detectives I'd like to fire. So I also wanted to know what the Italian police eat. I really want to know. Do they eat donuts or do they eat cannoli? It's a very important question. I need to know.
They eat the spaghetti.
Anyway, I just imagine people are like, oh, my child is missing, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, oh, but I have to eat this cannoli. I cannot. That's what I imagine. So anyway.
I think that's probably true, yes.
Oh, it will be because I'm about to get to it in a little bit. So when she last spoke to her sister, she said why she was late to flute school. And this seems like something you would scroll past on Facebook. He says that she received a job offer from a rep from Avon Cosmetics. I'm not lying to you. So yeah, everyone is groaning right now. Any job offer from a stranger out in public at random and you are definitely underage, no, don't.
Yeah, no, that's...
Don't do it. Don't do it. If it's legit, they'll want to involve your parents, and if they don't, then you know. Okay. All right. I'm just saying. If it seems like a miracle, sweetheart, it's a nightmare. Okay. Also write that down. So her sister, I'm assuming, puts down her cannoli, which is what she was obviously eating at the time. She's like, hey, why don't we? Yeah, I put that. She's like, let's talk to mom and dad. Let's think this through. Let's, think about this before we just jump in. That's the last conversation they have. And this sister to me reminds me of Elsa in Frozen because she's like, you just met them. Like, let's chill out. Let's not get married. Let's just, think about this. And then the Avon rep is obviously Hans. So just so you're getting the vibe. So this meeting.
Wait, who was Hans? Was he the bad guy?
The Avon rep.
Who?
Oh, did you not see Frozen?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, he's the one who's like, if only somebody loved you. When she's like sitting by the fireplace and her heart's frozen.
Uh-huh.
All right.
Wait, the good guy or the bad guy?
Kristoff is the good guy.
Oh, Kristoff. I couldn't remember his name.
Oh, boy. Anyway, so she meets this Avon rep right before her flute lesson. She tells the friend about it when she gets to the flute class, and it's just, it's so cringy. It bothers me on so many levels. So this friend hears all about it, and then she leaves class, goes to get on the bus where she's going to get on the bus with another friend of hers from flute school. This is when Avon Hans pulls up in a BMW. And she gets into the BMW. Don't get in to the BMW. If I have to make flyers, if I have to make magnets, I don't care what I have to do. Don't get in the fucking BMW. Ugh, makes me so mad.
You just not like that, like, type of car?
I mean, I don't, but that's besides the point.
Oh,
Just they drive like assholes most of the time.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, no,
Because they're assholes most of the time.
we lost more of our audience probably. No one drives BMWs from our audience. Okay. I didn't even know Avon was in Italy in 83, so that's another surprising fact. So this brings us to June 23rd, which is the next day. Obviously, she didn't come home because we're doing this case. So her parents call the director of the flute school. They're trying to see if anyone else there has more information, if she talked to any of the other students, if anyone knows anything. And I don't think they came up with anything other than the two girls, I think, that had talked to her. So they waited until the next day at 3 p.m. to report it because the police suggested she was with a friend, and that's what the police do. They're kind of like, yeah, maybe, maybe not. We're busy. Come back later.
Right.
So her disappearance gets publicized in the media with the phone number of the Orlandi household, not the phone number for the police, for these goddamn parents. That is the number they put in the flyer.
The fuck?
They're like, we can't be bothered. We need to eat the cannoli. We have so many pizza evidence already.
Did you say piece of evidence
Oh,
or
I said
pizza?
Oh, I said
Okay.
pizza evidence.
Wait, was that impersonation, was that the cops again, or was that the parents?
No, that was the detectives. That was the police.
Okay.
They're like, we can't. We're eating, which is what I would be doing all the time if I was over there. Oh God, it's just so dumb. So they put this phone number for this
Just real
family.
Quick.
Yes.
I would like to formally request that you from now on only do foreign stories. So you keep doing the accents, because I'm having a great time.
You got it. You got it. I was drunk when I took these notes, and I was like, yes, I will do this in Italian for sure. So it's 6 p.m. on June 25th. A phone call comes to the house because, of course, it does. And the police have better things to do, apparently. So, oh, that's where I wrote the pizza evidence. So this is a person that's claiming to be a 16-year-old boy named Pierre Luigi. Pierre Luigi. It's a real name.
Pierre Luigi.
It's legit a real name. So,
Terrible name.
Yeah, to me it just sounds like a French Mario Kart character, but apparently it's a real name. So this 16-year-old says that he and his fiance.
Wait, what?
What?
16-year-old and his fiance?
This is 1983 and not 1883, right? Yes.
Huh.
They met her in the Plaza Navona that afternoon. His description was down to the flute she carried, her hair, and even the glasses she did not like to wear. According to French Luigi, the young woman had just got her hair cut and said her name was Barbarella, which I know is also an icon at one point. No, this is legit. So I will say, if some strange person comes up to you, please throw out the most random, possibly 60s pop icon name, like Twiggy. Just like say whatever comes to mind, just for safety. Just make something up. Anyway, so they're talking to her, and she said that she is on the run from home and she's going to sell Avon products. That's what this person says, who claims to be 16. So we continue on with the Nintendo theme because on June 28th, a man named Mario calls the family home. The police were out getting cappuccinos, I believe, at the time. They didn't have time for this. So the family gets the phone, and the man said he owns a bar near Ponte Vittorio, something like that. which is between the Vatican and the music school. And he claimed that a girl named Barbara, a new customer, had confided in him. She's 15. I don't think she can drink yet, but okay.
Barbarella?
Yeah, and this is another thing. This is where she says she's once again a fugitive from home, but is gonna go back for her sister's wedding. So this is like a part-time thing. This is
sounds awkward as fuck.
Yeah, but that's what they say. So 2 days later, it's June 30th. Flyers are everywhere, and there's like 3,000 posters all across the city. There's a lot of posters of her and that the fact that she's missing. So that's when all those get put up. And then Sunday, July 3rd, we are at about 2 weeks since Emanuela has vanished, and Pope John Paul II actually addresses it in a speech. I don't know if it's internationally done or what, but he's doing some type of ceremony, and he appeals to anyone who is responsible. And this is the first time it gets announced that it's possibly a kidnapping. Before that, it was just kind of like maybe she ran away. Anyway, you have seen her. But he's like, no, if you're responsible for this, please come forward. Tell us what you know. July 5th, they get an anonymous phone call, and will the police like ever fucking take over, or is it just always going to be the family answering this phone at their house?
I don't know. That's like fucked that they're all calling the family to begin with.
I don't know why. That's a thing. If you are Italian and you are listening to this, please tell me why, for the love of God, they would use the family's phone number and not the police number.
So I mean, like, was there any information? Like, was it just like a mistake, or was it like they actually published like, hey, reach out to this family if you have any information?
No, like in the media, like I think like news channels and crap.
Oh fuck.
Yeah, on the news, they're like, hey, by the way, this is a family's phone number, like right here. So if you could call them, if you know anything, that'd be great. We're gonna go get gelato. Bye. That's basically what they did. They did.
I know. I'm not.
I know.
Not arguing you.
Makes me so angry that this is what they do. So angry. So this anonymous phone call, the person doesn't say their name, but they say that they are from kind of like a terrorist group, terrorist organization. And there was this one Turkish man who had actually shot the Pope 2 years earlier in May of 1981. And they claim to be in this group that was associated with him. And that Emanuela was a prisoner, and they wanted to exchange her for the Turkish man and get him back to the terrorist group. That he claimed that was the message. We'll exchange them. We have her. We'll give her back if you give us Turkish man.
So yes. They committed more crimes to try and get their terrorist buddy back?
It sounds foolproof, right? Well, I'm not going to bring up the police again. Okay. So there are more calls that happen. One caller identifies themselves as the American, and they play a recording of Emanuela Orlandi's voice over the phone. Or at least what we think is her voice. I don't know how they've never released the clip that I'm aware of, unless I happen to miss it. So I'm not sure if it sounded like her, if it actually was confirmed to be hers. So they do that, and once again, they are talking about how they're part of this organization. And then this man, this American man, says that he was both Mario and Pierluigi. So he is actually this person who's been calling all along. Check that out. So the next
both of the brothers.
What'd you say?
He's both of the brothers.
He's both Mario and Luigi. He is the whole experience.
Hell yeah.
Now I'm just imagining Mario Kart taking place in Italy, and it's driving me nuts. Okay, so the next day, there's a young man who calls the ANSA News. It's ANSA. I don't know exactly which channel that is, or in terms of kind of what they broadcast, but they call into there and they once again make this demand for the exchange of Emanuela and the Turkish man. And they say it needs to happen in 20 days. During the exchange, there would be a basket near Parliament. It would be in the, a public square. And there would be evidence in the basket that it was definitely her. This included her music school ID, a receipt, a handwritten note, or I'm sorry, photocopies of them. And the magistrate who was handling this at the time found this whole thing to be not credible. Doesn't take it seriously. He's just like, boys will be boys. He's just, Once again, he's probably too busy eating cannoli or some shit, spaghetti. He's no, he's got other shit to do. This girl is missing. Better shit to do.
I mean, it's not his kid.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not taking up for the guy, but
you don't sound biased. No, but anyway, it's not his problem. He's like, this just doesn't seem believable. Regardless, I feel like we should have tried. Okay. So July 8th, someone with a Middle Eastern accent called a classmate of hers. How did they get the phone number? It's so fucking
Maybe they were also in that class.
Maybe. Once again, they call this classmate, and because it didn't work with the magistrate, now they're like, up here, surely this will work. And they're demanding this exchange to someone who's also 15 and is like, excuse me, I have homework to do. Why are you contacting me?
Yeah, that
I have to go practice my flute. There are surely police will handle this. And then the police, you cut to it and they're just eating pizza in a parking lot, just living their best life, not giving a fuck.
Why the fuck are they in a parking lot?
That just came out. They could be anywhere. I mean, I would assume they're anywhere else, because why would you not give a telephone number if you have one?
Right.
So anyway, they mentioned the 20 days, the whole exchange all over again. And they demand that a direct phone line communication with the Secretary of State be installed. It does get installed July 18th. And she first disappeared, what was this? June 22nd. So it's been almost a month. 16 phone calls come in from the American, all from different telephone booths that are out in the public. So apparently they're all being traced to these telephone booths, and for some reason they're not figuring out
right
where this person is, and they're not staking them all out, of course, because they're probably a lot. So this all takes place in 1983. There's no basket, no exchange happens, nothing of the sort. Just me with a bunch of fucking questions. So we're going to accelerate several years, going to May 14th of 2001, where a parish priest of a church that's near the Vatican finds a small human skull in a bag. And there's an image of Padre, I don't know if it's Pio or Pio, meaning Saint Pio. It has no jaw attached, and it was left in a confessional booth.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's dark.
Yeah. And then it's just kind of like a cliffhanger, because then they're like, yeah, no identification has been made. If it's Emanuela or if it's someone else, we have no idea. And then they mention that her father, unfortunately, has passed away at this point. So that's all the details that I have. If I miss anything, yeah, you guys are more than welcome to email the podcast, DM me on Instagram, Dear Friends Dead Ends Pod. But I don't even know. I don't even know.
Yeah, that's.
I don't even, from the whole Avon experience, the fact that the phone number isn't to the police.
Yeah, that, like, it's weird that, like, at the beginning it doesn't sound like super strange, but everything just really gets weird and off the rails.
Right, it just ramps up.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, she's gone, but now there's international terrorist and like Yeah, that's real weird.
Yeah, I just love how the media is like, oh, she's a missing. Call her parents. I think I just sounded like the Count from Sesame Street.
One,
I can't think of anything good to go with that. Damn it. I wanted to do an Italian gelato thing as the Count, but I can't do it. Either way, that's
Okay.
a really frustrating story of Emanuela, Orlandi, and we still don't know what happened. If you know anything, I don't know, call her parents' house apparently.
Do you still have her parents' number?
Ooh.
You could probably
I
find
think
it
so.
online.
Hopefully the police have taken it over by now. If not, I don't know, like call someone in charge. Something. I'm so pissed off. Okay. You can go.
All right. So, I'm doing the unsolved murder of Bernard Charles Sherman. He actually went by Barry. He was born on February 25th in 1942 in Toronto, Canada. He was incredibly smart and actually entered the University of Toronto's engineering science program at 16. So he was actually accepted into college at the age of 16. And at that point, he was the youngest to have ever been accepted. He apparently chose the engineering science program just because it was notoriously hard.
Oh, he's like, oh, my life's not challenging enough. Like, let's add more.
He went in and was like, you know, I want to learn. This is the hardest. Let's do it.
I have the exact opposite problem.
Yeah, for sure. So during time where he wasn't in school, he worked for his uncle at his uncle's company, Empire Laboratories. So most of the time, he was actually a driver transporting urine samples for pregnancy tests.
Never job description I thought I'd ever hear, but it makes sense.
But when his uncle would travel, for some reason, he was tasked with watching over the company. So he's 16 years old.
He mostly drives urine, but he's also
he mostly drives the piss truck. And then and then they're like, oh, you know what we should do? Leave him in charge.
What do you do? Oh, I drive the piss truck.
Yeah. It's like, oh God, why did I think about that? I hate how my mind works sometimes because all I could think about was like, you know, the pool water trucks.
Yeah. Oh.
It took you a second, but you got there.
I was like, yes, I do.
So he graduated at the very top of his class and even received an award for his thesis. And actually, yeah. So he was not only the youngest, but he actually graduated at the top of his class. And then he went on to MIT and got a PhD in astrophysics.
All right, this is not making me feel good about my life right now. But good for him.
In all fairness, you don't want to end up like this dude.
Yeah, I take it back.
Yeah, remember it's an unsolved murder.
But I mean, for his life at that point, that's very accomplished. That's incredible. That's incredible.
So in 1967, once he had graduated from MIT, he actually took over his uncle's business. So his aunt and uncle both passed away.
Okay.
And they had 4 children. But none of the children were old enough to take over the business. So they allowed Barry the opportunity to buy a majority stake in the company. So he would be running the business. But with the he had to promise, or he came with an understanding that he was given the opportunity to buy the majority share, but once the 4 kids reached the age of 21, they were guaranteed a job.
Okay.
So they're guaranteed a job. After 2 years of working there, they would be given the opportunity to buy up to a 5% stake in the company, and they were to be paid royalties for 15 years on 4 of their the company's patented drugs.
Okay.
So it's like a sweet ass deal for these 4 kids, other than their parents dying.
Yeah, let's laugh about that, Cody.
I didn't mean to. So like this dude Barry, he's ruthless businessman. Within 2 years, he had made just a shit ton of money running this company, and then he sold the company so he wouldn't have to worry about taking care of those kids.
Oh, very.
Yeah,
No.
he sold the company. So he sells the company.
It's a shit stick. Like
he's really kind of a dick. So he sells the company, starts his own company, and then hires all the people that he worked with at Empire, and that company like immediately started going under.
Wait, the new company?
No, the company that he left.
Empire.
Yeah. So he sold the company, took all the people that made Empire a successful business, and then started his own business with them so he wouldn't have to share any of the benefits and wealth with his 4, nieces and nephews that. Huh?
I'm going to say something, and I really hope it doesn't get us sued, but I feel like this is something Kanye West would do.
Oh, yeah. No, he's a shitbag too.
God, what a shit stick. I just,
yeah.
oh God.
Yeah, really kind of a dick. So he's just this cutthroat business guy, and then he's also like a terrible judge of character.
Great.
Because he was constantly, so he was actually one of the richest people in Canada. He at the time of his death, he was worth like multiple billion.
How much were the kids worth?
Like nothing.
To him,
because he fucked them over. Didn't have to pay them. He didn't have to give them jobs, anything. So he's got more money than God, and he's apparently just always investing in people that turned out to be scams. Or yeah.
I mean, continue, but I've already stopped.
I mean, he's investing in people, and that always turns out to be scams, or like they're committing some sort of fraud. So the one that was funniest to me was he bought a majority share in a yacht chartering company. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
They never bought any yachts. They didn't have the one thing they needed for their business.
How did they sell this thing?
They just fucking took his
money. They just had like this concept.
He just got scammed. But I mean, like it's weird because it seems like for his investments, he like is constantly getting the wool pulled over his eyes, but then he goes back into like the business world and he's a shark. Like he's just
wait. He got scammed, or he scammed someone about the yacht?
He got scammed.
Oh, thank God. Okay, continue.
Oh, he got scammed like multiple times. He bought He bought a
Wait, he bought it without saying it.
Do what?
So he bought this without saying it, like the whole yacht thing. He needs yacht, obviously, because there was no yacht.
Yeah. So like people would talk to him and he'd be like, "This sounds like a fantastic idea. I'll invest in it." Then they just run off with his money. And then um so yeah, he was actually like I said, he was one of the richest people in Canada. But the other thing is he was just ruthless in business dealings, and he would not hesitate to take people to court if he thought there could be financial gain.
On the transcript in the court, did they say he was a quote shit stick?
I don't believe so.
No, they should
not on the record. But yeah, he's just like an absolute dick, just constantly trying to make money. He was apparently like constantly suing people, other companies, anyone that would talk bad about him. He would
So he was Kanye West.
Yeah, I mean, kind of, yeah. He sounds a little like that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
He sounds a little Trumpy to me.
Yeah.
So like, because like he had these people build him a house, right? He paid everyone, and then he turned around and sued everyone to get his money back, because he was like, this wasn't to my specifications. They took advantage of me. I shouldn't have to pay for this. So he would pay them and then immediately start suing everyone to get his money back.
I know someone like this.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. So I would imagine he just had a ton of enemies. Because like I said, he fucked over those poor kids. He's constantly suing people. They said his company, more than any other company, was involved in legal actions. So like they were just, like I said, just constantly taking people to court. He's trying to get his money back. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Because he's dumb rich, so he has access to the best lawyers and everything. Yeah, it's insane. So they so he's married to his wife, and
oh my God, what?
Yeah, he's married to his wife. His wife's name is Honey.
Shut up. I love that movie.
Was that Jessica Alba?
Yes.
Yeah. His wife's name is Honey. I don't have anything. I just
like Hummy better.
Hummy. So
let's continue.
They said like he only thought about work. Even when they were on vacation, like he would stay up all night. He had like insomnia really bad, so he'd stay up all night and do business throughout the night. Like constantly, every night he was calling people.
I feel like when you're that rich, it's like you're always on business mode.
Yeah. I mean, like vacation didn't matter what they were doing. He was working. So there's not like a ton to this story. I just thought it was really interesting. So him and Honey decide that they're going to move. They're currently living in New York, and they decide they're going to move back closer to Toronto. So I think this happened in 2016.
But
2017. So in 2017, they decide they're going to move back to Toronto. On December 12th, his wife, Honey, missed a meeting without warning, which was not like her at all. She was always very on time, very, courteous and cordial. She basically sounds like she was the exact opposite of him.
Yeah, she
Everything
was well-mannered, treated people well,
right. It
cared
just
about
says
humanity.
she ended up she was a philanthropist.
Oh, yes, that is the opposite.
So she was more about like she definitely like showed her wealth a little bit more than he did.
Hmm.
Um, but she also did it in helpful ways. She was constantly giving to charities, and she was on different boards throughout her life, just helping lead charities in new directions that would help more people. So for her to just not show up to a meeting was very strange. Um, and then they reached out to her in email, and it was like really weird and vague. Just said that like, oh, I'm dealing with some stuff.
Hmm. Yes. Yes.
So later that night, Barry sent an email about one of the drugs that they were producing at the labs, but he didn't call anyone that night. Like I said, he was always on the phone all night because he couldn't sleep.
Yeah.
So he'd make business calls and catch up with friends and stuff.
Yeah.
But he didn't call anyone that night.
Hmm.
So the next day, he doesn't show up for work. The dude's constantly working.
Right.
Always working, always in work. He doesn't show up for work. There's no correspondence, nothing like that. He didn't have previous plans. He should have been at work. He just doesn't show up. So they had a cleaning crew that was coming in and cleaning up the house to get it ready for sale. So in anticipation of the move, a realtor was coming over to show the house. Yeah.
In New York.
So in New York,
In New York.
the house was listed for $7 million.
And wait.
The house was listed for $7 million. Like I said, dude has money.
I heard billion. This makes way more sense. Okay.
Oh yeah, no, not billion. So the cleaning crew was in tidying up, and the realtor comes in with a couple to show them the house. Okay, so Barry and Honey weren't supposed to be home.
Yeah.
Honey was going to a trip to Miami, and then Barry was supposed to show up like a week later. So the realtor is showing these people around the house, right? And she's like, "Oh, over here, this is the breakfast nook. Beautiful. This is the sunroom. You can just, come in here, laze about, read a book if you'd like." And they go in to show the lap pool and the hot tub, and they find Barry and Honey dead.
Oh. And then please tell me they immediately played it off as like people are just dying to live there.
I fucking hope so. Like, can you imagine you're trying to sell a $7 million house, and you walk into a room and you find two dead people?
Yeah, that realtor must have been like had one of those things where like, and this
not
is
getting
the
commission on this one.
This is, and we're gonna go look at the Topi area over there.
These are the previous owners.
They would tell you how much they love the house, but they can't now. So
right. So both had leather belts tied around their necks, and then yeah, and then the other side of the belt was attached to a metal bar that was about 1 meter or 3 feet or so around the.
What? Okay.
So their hands had been tied behind them.
That makes more sense. Okay, there we go. Got it. I'm on. Is this what is the bar though? I'm confused about this bar. Is it that the hands are tied to the bar?
No, part of the belt is around their neck, and then the other part of the belt is tied to the bar that's like 3 feet off the ground. So I guess it's like a railing or something.
Okay. I got it now.
And then so their hands were tied behind them, and I've never heard of this before, but it makes sense. So like they both had coats put on them, but their arms were tied behind their backs, and they put like tight coats on them without their arms through the sleeves to hold their arms against their body.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? Like,
Yes. But their arms
like
aren't in the sleeves, or they are?
their arms aren't in the sleeves. So like when you like if you get cold and you pull your arms inside like your shirt,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? They
Okay.
did that, but with like a tight jacket so they couldn't move around.
Okay.
And
I
then
can see it now.
yeah, and then so Barry was sitting with his legs crossed, like he had been staged, and then Honey was laid on her side with like apparently like a real gnarly bruise on her face.
Mm.
They said that in the room next to them, one of the like the bathroom right next to the pool room, was Honey's cell phone.
Okay.
And apparently Honey only had a cell phone because that's what you're supposed to do.
Okay.
Like she literally did not use her cell phone.
So also the opposite of him in that way.
Right. So her it was said that her friends think that it was weird that she even had her cell phone. So maybe she was trying to call someone and then got overpowered and dropped it.
That makes sense.
So I mean that's honestly it's really it. Like it's
So weird.
It's real strange. What kind of got me was so they call the police.
Yes.
The police come. Their first thinking was, oh, murder suicide.
Okay.
What?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Hmm.
Their first thought is murder suicide. That doesn't make any goddamn sense. But so then they were like, I mean, we'll do an investigation. It does seem
what? We're gonna put the phone number of this house on the news, and they can call and give tips to the housekeeper. It'll be great.
Yeah, the police are treating it as a suspicious case. Yeah, it's fucking suspicious. Two people are like, what? I just don't understand that. But
I don't know about you, but this doesn't seem normal for a murder suicide.
Yeah, murder the hearing it was like they thought it was a murder suicide. That blows my mind.
Like, I don't know, Johnny. I've got into some tight places before myself.
Yeah, but can you like I literally can't even think of a way that it would be possible to tie your own hands, tie your neck. Like what the fuck?
Because were they in the pool or were they not in the pool?
They weren't in the pool. They were actually they were both fully clothed and facing away from the pool.
That makes more sense. Okay. I thought they were in the pool and there was like
no, but like
okay.
What the fuck? What the fuck?
Yeah, no.
I can't like how would you put a jacket on like that? How would you tie your own hands? None of that fucking makes sense. But yeah, so it's actually the investigation is still ongoing. This is 4 years later. But they just kind of are like, yeah, it's suspicious. It's weird.
Yeah, I'd say so. So that's pretty weird. I'm very sorry for Honey. That is really terrible that she got into that situation. And with Barry, it's sad that a person died. It makes it so difficult when they're a shit stick.
Yeah.
Because then you're like, I feel bad for your family. Do they have kids? Or no?
Yes, they did. They had 4 kids.
Okay, I feel bad for the kids, for like the relatives. I feel bad for Honey. I just like make better decisions, sir.
Yeah, he was everything I really. It was like there was no middle ground with him. People were either like, Barry was the nicest person I knew, or they were like, that guy's the fucking devil. Like, there's no in between.
God, man, that was crazy. Man, we chose some good ones this week.
Yeah.
I must say.
Yeah. I mean, I
weird.
feel bad that mine's kind of short, but I just thought it was interesting. Like,
it's really bizarre in terms of, yeah, that they're like, clearly this was an inside job. Clearly.
yeah, there was no forced entry. There was no like anything.
They probably knew the people. That happens so, like, more often than anything else, is they know them.
Yeah.
I mean, it could have been a business person, like someone, like, who knows?
Yeah,
Right?
I mean,
like, for him, it could have been anyone. What the hell?
Yeah, real weird.
So, all right. If anyone wants to send us Ted Bundy's, I would greatly appreciate it. I still have some more to go through, but please send them. No matter where you're listening, if you could rate us on Apple Podcasts, we would greatly appreciate it. Who knows what we're going to come up with for episode 6. But I also wanted to say, what was it? Oh, don't forget to find us on Instagram, Dear Friends Dead Ends Pod, and TikTok, DFTE Pod. I think that's all we have, but as usual, we greatly, thank God you tweeted something other than at OJ. Thank God. Thank
you. See what it says?
Like, it was a little bit blurred out on the side.
It says, follow us, please. First picture of our feed is free.
Why do I give you this praise and I immediately regret it? I'm like, here, please take one of the social media accounts. Please.
Yep.
And then I'm like, get off of the social media account.
I'm helping.
The fact that you can't even get through that. Jesus. All right, so that's what we have for today. Thank you guys for listening to our super weird stories and my really bad Italian accent.
No, it was pretty spot on.
I mean, sometimes it was. And if you know what they eat, the Italian police, when they're doing their late night shifts, please let me know. I would love to know if it's cannoli, if they do have donuts over there that they do eat. It's vitally important, actually more important than anything else. So let me know, and we will talk to you guys next week. And once again, thank you so much for listening to Dear Friends Dead Ends podcast. Bye.
Bye.